In the vast world of the Japanese folklore, there is a universe where the everyday and the supernatural blend together without clear boundaries. This is where the yokai live, mysterious creatures that can be terrifying, ridiculous, playful, or even protective. Yokai are part of the collective imagination of the Japanese people, beings born of fears, nature, and even the objects that surround us. They are the reminder that even in the ordinary, the extraordinary can be hidden. Yokai are not just scary monsters. They are a huge category within Japanese folklore that ranges from violent spirits to comical or protective entities. Some are terrifying and deadly, such as the Yuki Onna, who freezes travelers. Others are mischievous, such as the Kappa, who enjoys playing pranks. And there are also friendly or protective ones, such as a certain Tengu, who train monks and samurai in martial arts. The fascinating thing is that they cannot be pigeonholed. Each yokai has its own temperament, and the stories change depending on the region or the narrator. The idea of yokai did not come out of nowhere. Its roots lie deep in ancient Japan, where the inexplicable had to have an explanation, even if it was fantastical. Some concepts came from China, such as demonic spirits and magical animals, but the Japanese soon adapted them and created their own catalog of creatures. In the Heian period, 794–1185, references to these beings already appear in texts such as the Nihon Shoki. But it was during the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, that yokai reached their peak. Artists such as Toriyama Sekien began to compile them in illustrated books, turning them into stars of popular culture. These bestiaries were something like the first Pokédex in history, full of creatures with unique shapes and personalities. Kappa are one of the best known yokai. They are said to inhabit rivers and lakes and enjoy dragging the unsuspecting into the water. But they are also famous for their obsession with courtesy. If a traveler bows in reverence, the Kappa will respond with another bow, spilling the water from its bowl, the source of its power, and leaving itself vulnerable. This story taught children to be careful around rivers and at the same time valued Japanese courtesy as a weapon even against the supernatural. In some versions, Kappa love cucumbers to the point of accepting these vegetables as offerings so as not to harm humans. They were also credited with medical skills. They knew how to set bones or heal wounds, making them ambiguous creatures capable of both killing and saving lives. They were said to have a strong and pleasant odor, similar to rotten fish. There were villages where cucumbers with the family name written on them were thrown to protect themselves from them. If you don't want a Kappa dragging you into the river, or a Tengu carrying you away through the air, you'd better subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It's the safest way to protect yourself from the yokai. Imagine walking at night and encountering a stranger who, when turning around, reveals a completely smooth face, without eyes, nose, or mouth. That is the Mulupupu, a yokai that does not physically attack, but causes indescribable terror. In the famous legend of Kibitsudera, a merchant encounters a Mulupupu on a lonely road. Running home to warn his wife, he discovers that she is one too. These types of stories show a more psychological fear, the terror of the familiar becoming strange. Some ancient texts suggest that Mulupupu work together with other yokai, such as Kitsune, the magical foxes, to terrorize humans. The most disturbing thing is that, although they not cause physical harm, the trauma they left on their victims was considered as strong as that of a real attack. During the Edo period, engravings and paintings depicting encounters with them circulated, reinforcing the idea that anyone could come across an empty face in the middle of the night. Some stories present them as pranksters who only wanted to scare people, rather than as a real threat. The Nurari-yon is not frightening because of his violence, but because of his audacity. It is said that he enters other people's homes as if he were the owner, serves himself tea, and smokes his pipe, while the inhabitants, paralyzed, accept him as if they were unable to resist. More than a monster, he seems like a satire of the invasive old man or the nobleman who takes advantage of his status. In many Japanese stories, yokai also serve as a social commentary. His large and elongated head makes him unmistakable. Over time, in more modern folklore, Nurari-yon was even depicted as the chief of the yokai, a charismatic leader who dominated other spirits. This transformation shows how the Japanese imagination could give new roles to the same character. His name can be translated as a sliding pumpkin, alluding to the shape of his head. In ukiyo-e prints, he appears noble, sitting calmly as if he were truly the master of the house. In modern popular culture, he was reinterpreted as the leader of the yokai, which made him a central figure in the collective imagination. In ancient Japan, cats were viewed with suspicion. The wakeneko is a cat that, after growing old, develops supernatural powers. It can walk on two legs, speak with a human voice, and even kill its master to take its place. In kabuki theater, there is a famous play called Wakeneko no Densetsu, in which a vengeful cat transforms itself to punish those who mistreated it. This legend reminds us that animals, if treated badly, could turn against humans, even in supernatural ways. Some stories say the wakeneko could manipulate fire with their tails, throw fireballs, or even resurrect the dead to use them as puppets. In several villages, it was believed that if a cat lived longer than 13 years and had a tail that was too long, it could become a wakeneko. For this reason, in certain regions, the tails of domestic cats were cut off. They were associated with strange events in villages, unexplained fires, disappearances, or noises at night. The Japanese relationship with cats ranged from respect to distrust, because they were believed to be animals connected to the supernatural. In the snowy mountains, when the cold is unbearable, the Yuki Onna, the snow woman, may appear. She is described as a beautiful woman with a pale skin and a white kimono. It is said that she can blow her icy breath and freeze a person in an instant. In some versions, Yuki Onna destroys mercilessly. In others, she takes pity on travelers and even falls in love with a human. This duality reflects how the Japanese viewed snow, dangerous and deadly, but also majestic and beautiful. It is said that the Yuki Onna never leaves footprints in the snow, reinforcing her ghostly nature. In the Edo period, some stories describe her visiting villages on the coldest nights, entering houses and draining the life from sleepers as if absorbing their vital energy. In some stories, if the Yuki Onna fell in love with a man, she could live as a human, but she must never speak of her origins. When the secret was revealed, she disappeared forever. Her figure became established in the Edo period, mainly thanks to literature and kabuki theater, where she was a recurring character. Legends say that the Yuki Onna freezes anyone who crosses her path. but I just need a click from you to keep this channel alive. Subscribe and leave a like before the snowfall arrives. Tengu are mountain spirits with humanoid appearance, red skin, long noses, and wings that allow them to fly. In ancient times, they were seen as dangerous demons, capable of causing storms or kidnapping travelers. But later, they became guardians and punishers of the arrogant. There are two types: Karasu Tengu, more crow-like in appearance, ancient and ferocious, and Hanataka Tengu, long-nosed, more human-like, wise, or haughty. They were often depicted as guardians of Buddhist temples, punishing those who showed no respect. Tengu also appear in festivals. In some regions, their masks are used to ward off evil and attract good fortune. One of the most famous legends tells that the young warrior Yoshitsune learned the art of the sword thanks to the Tengu of Mount Kurama. In other stories, they drag arrogant monks through the air as a lesson in humility. Their figure reflects the idea that pride and arrogance are flaws that will sooner or later be punished, even by supernatural forces. In some traditions, the Tengu were considered secret masters of esoteric Buddhism, transmitting occult knowledge to those who dared to seek it. It was also said that they could possess people, causing violent or arrogant behavior. Thus, the Tengu symbolized both the temptation of power and the need to control the ego. Yokai remind us that the world is full of mysteries, that not everything can be explained logically, and that behind every shadow or every creak in the night, a capricious spirit may be hidden. Perhaps that is their true strength. They remain alive because we need to believe that there is something beyond the visible. And you, what would you do if tonight, when you turn around, you discovered that the person next to you had no face? If you want to continue exploring mysteries like this, you know what to do. Leave your like, subscribe, and join me for the next story.